Welcome in, everyone. This is the Touchdown Alabama Magazine post-game show. You are live with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. Before we do anything, as y'all gather in here, need you to go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, turn on all notifications, jump in the chat, also jump in the live chat, and let's get ready to roll. The game just ended, and of course, it kind of turned out the way we all expected it to. 55-0, pitching a perfect shutout. Can't say I'm surprised. What are your immediate thoughts, Mike?
Bama looked like they picked up where they left off with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, it looked flawless, man. I was more than surprised to say the least.
Well, I think, like you said, man, they had a chip on their shoulder, and it was very evident. Will Anderson, he had that look in his face. He was ready to strike. Comment made by one of the analysts before the game started. He said that Will Anderson doesn't even have to stand in the huddle to get the call. He just goes. And that's exactly what he did. He and Dallas Turner set the tone for that defense. Of course, we gave up that big pass play to begin with, but that was pretty much it. After the defense only allowed 7 first downs the entire game. Incredible job by the defense.
That was, I guess, my biggest worry. It probably still is. I'm still not sold on the defense yet. I think we still got a lot of work to do, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good starting point. You know, you don't really judge how good a team is based on, an opponent like a Utah State, but it's something to get on film. It's something to give the talking heads content to talk about, and just a good starting point. And the good thing is we escaped it with no injuries, but we had a lot of guys show up tonight, a lot of the young guys. And first of all, welcome in to everybody in the chat. The chat is rolling, and we're ready to take calls whenever you are, but I want to start things out to focus on one gentleman, and I think you know where I'm going with this, and that's your boy, Kobe Prentice, man. You spent a lot of time with in the offseason, getting him ready. Man, he went from being a freshman to look like he was a veteran. Are you surprised?
I'm not. Just like, yeah, I got a lot of text messages during the game. I was just like, what you been doing with him, man? He look good. Hey, man, I did nothing. All I did was give this kid confidence. And when I tell you the boy is he surprised me, and I think he's going to show why he is at the University of Alabama starting as a true freshman.
I tell you, man, he looks really special, and you expect the young guys to be a little anxious, have those nerves, and just to not have any sense of calm. He had that cool, calm, and collective demeanor like he's been there.
Got an old soul, man. Got an old soul.
I got to think that you had a little something to do with that. But, man, yeah, Kobe Prentice, just great concentration, great footwork, shaking folks, breaking ankles. I love the kid. Hey, he's going to be special.
Yes, I was. It's like one of those things. You knew Alabama was going to kind of reload, rebuild, but it's like, golly, man, it is ridiculous. You got a freshman coming out like that, and you got transfer. How did Georgia let Burton get away? That is beyond
man. Dude, they should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, look at what this kid did tonight. He actually had a quarterback that was competent and that could actually throw him the ball. He had an offensive coordinator and a coach that actually believes in using him, utilizing his talent. This dude is a baller. I mean, I might be getting ahead of myself here, but he looks like a first-round receiver. I mean, I might be just have my crimson colored glasses on, but dude, Burton is that guy.
Yeah, when he came out the top of the dig route on the first touchdown, I said, "Oh yeah, he's a real route runner." I'm big on getting in there and out of those routes, and he has it fluid, man. Very sound receiver, very sound.
Before we continue on, I want to give a shout out to the man, Jimmy Clay, and the super chat with $55. We greatly appreciate that. That
Roll
will help.
Tide.
Roll Tide. That will help pay for our ticket on Spirit Airlines next week to see Texas and Alabama and Austin.
You said Spirit?
Spirit, which basically means we're going to be in a crop duster.
Oh, man.
Man, Coach Mook, yeah, kind of followed up with what you said, Mike. Burton route running is crazy. The balance and the way his hips are able to sink in and explode out is crazy.
Sure-handed receiver, man. That's something you can't teach. That's that fast twitch. You need to be thanking mom and dad for that.
No doubt. Another super chat, $9.99 from Jamie Wilham. Roll Tide, brother. We appreciate that.
RTR.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But man, this wide receiver group, we could literally have an entire show on these guys alone.
Yes.
Bryce was commanding everything, was already in midseason stride. He just looked so comfortable with Trayshawn, Burton, and your boy Prentice. This is going to be trouble.
5 touchdowns.
This is going to be some problems for the SEC defenses.
Wild Bill is showing why he is at Alabama. I mean, the dude looked like Loxley and Kiffin back there calling them plays, man. And
he did. One sec. It's amazing how last year he kind of seemed a little handcuffed. And I think that was primarily due to having an offensive line that just limited what he could do because we gave up 43 sacks. We weren't blocking for, you know what? Can't say the word here on TDA, but you get where I'm going. But when he has an offensive line that can do their job, he can open that playbook up more. And I think you saw a little bit of that tonight.
Yes. I think he's dialed in. I think that the Heisman wasn't a fluke. It just goes to show, man. I mean, yeah, we talking about Utah State, but I mean, it looked effortless tonight.
Yes.
I don't have any. I don't even have any rebuttal. Nothing bad to say. Those guys, they dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's tonight.
Man, and what about Bryce Young as a runner? 5 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. The mobile quarterback, dual threat.
Look like a Michael Jackson version of Michael Vick, just a little lighter edition.
And what a difference! Man. What a difference a year makes. Last year he wouldn't do that. I don't think it was until the Georgia game in the SEC championship where he actually felt confident enough and trusted his legs to do something like that. Tonight, he did that twice, and
I was impressed with the backup.
Jalen Miller.
Oh my God, that guy, man, that boy looked like Bo Jackson throwing a football, man.
Man, he came out there looking like Ronnie Coleman, man, all swole up, just slinging it around. And except for that one ill-advised throw, he really looked confident and smooth, just looked so poised and polished. Big difference from a year ago. I like what I'm seeing from this kid.
Yes. I'm excited, and that running back room is deep as well, man. They got. I was glad to see Sanders back out there, man. I know he's been battling injury since he's been there, so just to kind of see him back in the mix, man, that's good to see.
Hey, man, and what about that carry he got? The whole place erupted.
When he hurdled the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Guys, the phone lines are open. We expect all of you guys to jump in. The number is right here on the screen. So go ahead and start calling. We'd love to take your calls and get your immediate thoughts. I just saw a question in the chat. What were your immediate thoughts on Terrion Arnold and Jaheim Otis, Mike?
I mean, I don't know. It just goes. I guess let me ask you this: what would you have done in that situation?
I was fully confident with those two guys, man. Terrion Arnold, except for that one play where he gave up that long pass, he looked solid. It seemed to me like he was more confident and ready than Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks didn't look like the kid that He was at LSU, so I guess he's not quite at that level yet. Jaheim Otis, the offensive linemen for Utah State were having a hard time. I mean, a very hard time. You know, he may not have been making all the tackles, but he was disruptive enough to ruin plays.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I mean, not disagree. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, the secondary, I was a little shaken. I'm still not confident because I feel like there's still a lot of inexperience there. A year, it makes a huge difference, but I don't think, if you ask me, that's the weakest link of our defense.
No doubt. Well, listen, man, we got our first caller. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on the line. Welcome in to the post-game party with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. Go ahead and state your name and where you're calling from and let us know your thoughts.
I am finally on the line with my brother, Justin Riley, and my big brother, Mike McCoy. This is Coach Smoot, man. What an honor, what a pleasure it is to call in for this post-game show, man. How are you fellas doing tonight?
Man, we're doing fantastic. Now, I got to tell you, you won't be able to hear what Mike says until you get off the line. So until we get that part worked out, if you would, man, let us know your thoughts, and Mike and I will comment, based on what you tell us. We're excited for you to be the first caller. And, man, what a way to start out with you, Coach Smoot.
Man, look, man, you know me, I'm not watching. After about the second or third drive, I'm not watching from a fan perspective anymore. I'm watching from analytical coach's perspective of knowledge perspective. And when I say execution was probably better than I expected across the board, even though we had some hiccups, it was small things that can be cleaned up, but just based off of film work. Some things were just game time mistakes that you expect. And I gave Randolph, I gave him a hard time. I felt like he wasn't aggressive enough on his reads coming out early in the game. But the offensive line cleaned up, even with the second group. The second group looked pretty solid. I think both quarterbacks had, plenty of time to make make good decisions throughout the whole game and execute. I think both quarterbacks looked comfortable with both O-lines, which was a big thing for me. Even with both receiving groups, like it was like everybody looked comfortable tonight. And like Mike said, it was just like the whole game looked effortless on both sides of the ball. I love Jalen Moody's confidence tonight and his aggressiveness. I like the communication across the board, how you didn't see a lot of signals being thrown around on the defense. It was literally like 2 or 3 people throwing these signals around, and the defense was really on the same page throughout the night. You can't expect to totally shut anybody's offense down. I don't care if Alabama played against Central High School is going to get 36 yards total offense by the end of the game. It's just the nature of the game of football. It's just the luck of the draw. So when we talk about a level of execution, if I was to grade Alabama's as a whole, as a team execution on all 3 phases, I would give them a hard A-, a strong B+, hard A-, and that's just being a picky, football player. Small stuff like guys giving up or not blocking all the way through plays, or on defense, guys started pulling up at the end. You didn't see 6 or 7 hats on the ball at the end of the game. So just to keep that intensity throughout the game would probably be the only critique. And then Jameer Gibbs, just his patience, man. I was surprised at his patience. I knew that it would be a struggle early on for him to just get a feel for the game speed of, just Alabama, seeing how holes are developed by Alabama offensive line, the caliber of offensive line in Alabama. And so for him to make the immediate adjustments on the fly that he did throughout the game, and then Jace McClellan didn't press for nothing, Roydell Williams didn't press. It was like you feel like everybody has this sense of we're all in no matter what our role is. And when you have a team like that, with the amount of talent that we have stacked on Alabama, you go 2-3 deep at each position. That's a scary feeling. That's what Georgia had last year. And you talk about putting a more dynamic offense. on the field compared to what Georgia had last year, putting that on the field with that type of attitude and the level of execution we saw tonight, guys, we're in for a great season. We're in for a great season. We're in for a strong season. And, you know, with Saban teams like this, the next question is, when do we experience our first test? That's what I'm looking forward to, the first official test. I don't think Texas is going to be the test. I don't think Texas is going to be a test. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be a test. I don't see our first test coming until possibly Mississippi State. You know, that they always going to play us, or Tennessee. Tennessee looks like they're going to develop. And so even Arkansas, they played kind of sloppy early against Cincinnati, but that defense looks still stout as ever. So we have a good season to look forward to, though. We're stacked on both sides. Secondary look great. I saw a comment. This is my last comment. I promise. I'm just rambling, brother.
No, you're good. Hey, we appreciate you, brother.
I saw the comment about Kyrie Jackson and Eli Ricks being out there. Ricks didn't look comfortable that first 2 or 3 snaps, but you saw like something click after they threw to his side, and he had to make that play. And Kyrie Jackson, that physicality, he said that was a focal point in the offseason, being able to be more physical and trust his technique. And when he ran through the block to not even block into the tackle, that's a big play, man.
He's different.
That's different. And that's like having Brock Bowers or Darnell Washington come out to block you and expecting that same physicality to blow it up and open it up for the safety that's rolling over or the linebacker rolling inside out to, you know, clean up the play. That's the type of stuff you want to see. So, and Kool-Aid is an athlete, man. I just don't think he needs to be out there every snap at corner. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he needs to be out there every snap. Key plays, yes. First corner off the dime, first corner off the nickel, maybe, yes. Every play, I don't think so. But key plays, you know,
man.
You want to put Kool-Aid in that one-on-one because you put him out there. You know, we have a 4-deep rotation at corners. That's all I'm saying. Arnold looks tough. Everybody looks tough at corners. Safeties look nice. Tua looks so comfortable, man. I'm so happy to see that guy trying to hit people. He didn't pop nobody tonight. He tried, though. He tried. I heard my boy talk about it. He tried, but that's it, man. I'm going to hang up.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm tuned in. I'm in the chat, man. Mike, I love you guys, man. Justin, I love you guys.
Hey,
man.
We love you too. Man. Roll Tide, man. Thank you for calling. Yeah, Mike, he gave us a lot to talk about. I mean, first of all, let's talk about that Kyrie Jackson play. When is it that you see a defender use a player's teammate to tackle somebody
and knock the helmet off? Like, he different, man. That's you got some a little off right there. You that's like Debo status. Give me that.
Yes.
Game.
Hey, but you got to have a little bit of being off, man, to be a nasty defense. You play with some of those dudes, man. Rolando and all those guys, man. They had to have a little something, you know. Yeah, Hightower.
His sticks, Mark Barron.
Yes.
Yeah, they were hitting Javi, Kareem. Yeah.
They weren't afraid to lay the wood at all. Shout out real quick, Jimmy Clay, $45 in the super chats. Roll Tide, brother. We definitely appreciate that.
Roll Tide, Chief.
But another thing that Coach Mick was saying that was overall things were cleaned up. Yeah, we had a few hiccups, but that's just a first game type thing. It's to be expected. But they were just so locked in and so smooth, and they understood the assignment. That was missing that last year, that this team's focused.
I think next to, like I say, I said it before, next to T-Ball, I think Will Anderson is going to will his team to make another run again this year. The grass smelled a little different this year, man. The boys they got a ring on their mind, and I think they're going to get it. Is it too early to be talking about it? Yeah, but am I talking about it? Yeah. We in the talk, baby. We in the hunt.
Most definitely. And I want to ask your opinion on that offensive line. Aside from Bryce Young running for 100 yards, were you really happy with what we're doing in the run game? In the first half, it didn't seem like we could get really established. Of course, in the second half, we eventually wore them down, and then Jahmyr Gibbs was able to bust loose for that 50, 60-yard run, and then Jace McClellan was able to bust loose for a couple runs here and there. But I kind of felt myself wanting to see more in the run game. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed what we did from a passing aspect. But what were your thoughts on that run game the first half?
Take those two Bryce runs away, that 60 and 30, you take those two away. I mean, how many yards do we have? That's the question. I don't think we have I feel like they played solid, but it wasn't a ground and pound or a distinct difference on who the starter is right now, because it's up for grabs. So you're gonna have a strong rotation. I guess Bama is now 70% pass and 30% run. It's flipped. It's a new decade. It's a new year.
It is.
So I think they will ride or die with their arm rather than with those legs this year, man.
Yeah, but listen, man, your boy Trent Richardson said it best. You can't do nothing without a run game, and
you can't. But you know what too? I think when you have things like this, because you gotta think they didn't do too much. They didn't use too. You didn't see too many plays like tonight. Oh my God, they're creative out of the box. They just executed on what the coaches called it. This was a basic scheme, so I think they were a little conservative on the play calling tonight, honestly. So, but It worked so much. Come on, man. We're talking about Utah State.
Yeah, I didn't really expect them to open up the playbook because there was really no need. And had they done that, of course, it would have been a cause for concern against Utah State. You shouldn't have to open up the playbook. But I honestly thought going in, we were probably going to see more run than pass. But it wasn't that way. One thing I did notice was the absence of Cameron Latou. Now, the offense did perform very well, but you kind of felt like there was that little something that wasn't there. And him being out, I think kind of caused that.
Well, one thing about it, I know Coach Saban, he runs the team like he runs a business, man. You always start the end in mind. And my end goal is to be at the Natty. And I need to save my valuable pieces. There's no rush. I know that we know the kid can play. Everybody know the kid can play. So whatever the injury is, I think it's a leg. I'm not 100% sure. But you don't rush back. For what? To play the first 2 quarters and sit the rest of the game? Nah.
Saving for a team like a Texas and some of the other games going forward. But this one, we didn't really didn't need him at all. But you kind of felt like the well-oiled machine wasn't quite well-oiled with having him gone. So we appreciate his contributions. Going back to the chat. Oh, first of all, guys, hey, the number's on the screen, 205-898-4698. Go ahead and call. Give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. This is why we're live, man, to get the interaction with the fans. Maybe y'all saw something we didn't see. We love to get in a debate. Coach Smoot says they only ran a 3-man front. That's tricky to block, especially when guys nose diving to avoid blocks.
Well, that too, but at the same time, I don't think you have, even if you have a line like last year, it changes. You have teams that have different strength. You got teams that are good pass blockers, and then you have some that are good run block teams. Like you had the running back from Georgia Tech. He came from a Pooh Cheese O-line, you know what I'm saying, to something like this. So, I'm not really too concerned about it, but they had a 3 front, and you're trying to spread the ball out. They knew what the plan was. So
and it's funny you mentioned his lack of offensive line at Georgia Tech. You could tell that he wasn't used to having a good offensive line because there were several instances in the game where I felt like that he was trying to create things himself just because at Georgia Tech he had to. Right. And he started to settle in as the game wore on, but it was funny. He had to shed those bad habits that he had from Georgia Tech.
I agree. I definitely agree.
We got a call on the line. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and state your name and where you're calling from, and roll tide. Are you there, caller? I'm going to try this technology yet again. Welcome into the post-game show with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. If you would, state your name and where you're calling from, and tell us your thoughts on the game.
Hey, this is Kanan Mullins.
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. You're on with Mike McCoy and Justin Riley. What's going on?
Well, calling from Rocky Top, more or less.
Oh, no.
Ooh, bad word.
Dangerous
Bad
territory.
Word. Hey, I know. I'm not afraid. I was glad to see the game, to be off from work and watch it with a little boy. It's great. They look good tonight. I thought they looked good. They got some stuff out of the way straight away. Not that it's the things I'm talking about getting out of the way is some mistakes, but for later on, this is maybe a little bit off subject, maybe, but Bryce Young got sacked, so that's out of the way. That first sack is out of the way, so we don't have to hear some certain announcer go on about, oh, that was his first sack of the year. No, well, that's over with. Got that taken care of.
Yeah, you definitely want to.
It's not much subject matter, but I think that's what was on my mind.
Well, listen, it's always good to go ahead and get those first bumps out the way, just to kind of settle in and get used to the flow again. And once that's out of the way, I think you're able to focus more and concentrate. And of course, Bryce wasn't rattled at all tonight. He was cool as a cucumber, and it looked like he was just in cruise mode all week. I mean, all night.
And boy, like he had the great wall of China in front of him, man.
They did good. I'm proud of my team.
Well, absolutely. Well, any final thoughts before we go to our next call, man? We appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, I like the play on it was before halftime. It totally faked me out. The fake and tossed it over in the end zone and score a touchdown. I forget who he threw it to. Shame on me. I don't know.
Oh, come on now. Know your roster.
I know. Anyway, that's it. I just want to call and say hey and enjoy your show. And hello, Mr. McCoy. I know I can't hear you, but say hey to you too.
Yeah, well, we greatly appreciate it. And we'll be here all season long, so feel free to call back anytime.
Got it, bud.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, that play that I think he was talking about before halftime when Bryce, really cool play, man. Faked the run to I believe it was Roydell. Just slid it out of there and just calmly just lofted it up. And I think that was to Jermaine Burton in the end zone, just sitting there waiting.
Yeah. Them boys look like they were just playing pickup ball out there, man. It was too easy. Too easy.
And it needs to be in the first game. So, but yeah, just a great game. What you want to see starting out. I think it's going to make Coach Saban a little frustrated because what does he have to complain about, really?
Oh, he gonna find something. I ain't even like this. We got the 24-hour rule, but you please believe you're gonna have the good, the bad, and the ugly. He gonna have 10 plays. He gonna find something, bro. Even if it's on the referee, he gonna zoom in and find something, Jack.
I mean, and of course, nobody knows better than you. Looking, I guess, if he had to pick something up that maybe, I guess he could use as a teaching moment, it probably would have had to happen in the second half when I guess we kind of pulled back a little bit, where the intensity wasn't quite there, where, which tends to happen in games like that when you're up 55-0 late. Did you see anything that he could possibly use?
Bro, when I tell you, I thought it was a great game, probably besides that one sack we gave up and the one pick we threw. I don't think he had enough air on the ball. I feel like I know he can make the throw. Even when the quarterback Milrow tried to run over the guy, which he did, you protect your body, man. You're a quarterback, I think things like that, and I'm sure it's going to be some flaws in that defense, and I'm sure he's going to let everybody know. So trust me when I tell you, he's going to have something to say.
And I can't wait. Come Monday, we're going to hear all of it. Well, we got another caller, and it looks like it might be from the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen M. Smith. Is that who we have on the line? Roll Tide, buddy.
What's going on, Justin, and my man Mike McCoy?
What's happening?
You were right in the middle of it, man. What is going on?
Well, just leaving here via the post-game press conference with Saban and the team, Bama getting the 55-0 shutout over Utah State. A lot of good in this game. Still some things to clean up, especially on the offensive line. There were some explosive runs, but consistently not what Saban wanted to see in terms of getting 3, 4, and 5 yards a pop. But a lot of young wide receivers hit the field, and Kobe Prentice, Saban said straight up, this is one of the guys that Alabama loves to have in that slot position. And boy, did he show up, 5 catches for 60 yards.
Hey,
yeah,
man,
no doubt.
Yeah, he liked that, man. Hey, y'all, they haven't seen nothing yet, man.
Mike, you're absolutely right. You haven't seen anything yet. I think that we're just barely scratching the surface. And Stephen, I'm sure bird's eye view from that press box, man, you saw that this kid's about to explode, man. That little fuse on the dynamite is going to be very short.
And he can punt return too.
Absolutely, and you see it naturally with his hands, with his routes, with the speed that he brings to the table. So it's going to be fun to watch his growth and him continuing to shine and develop. But another thing that caught me, Justin, was Trayshawn Holden. We knew it was going to take him a minute to kind of get some things in order, but he blossomed tonight. Had 70 yards receiving. He had 2 touchdowns. Man, Bryce Young using his feet for the first time. We're starting to see him look more like a dual threat quarterback. He had 100 yards rushing, the first 100-yard rushing quarterback since Jalen Hurts in 2017 against Ole Miss.
I tell you what, man, you hit the nail on the head. Last year, you said he kind of was a big fish in a small pond coming in. He was kind of ahead of everyone else in high school, so he had that adjustment period, which was last year. But now this year, it's like all of a sudden speed up. He's there, and woo, gosh. It's the Trayshawn Holden we've been waiting on, and I'm telling you, man, he and Burton are going to be a problem.
He and Burton
that trio.
Prentice will be a problem, and then Isaiah Bond tonight got on the field. He caught a pass, and if not for a penalty, he scores in the play. He's got incredible speed, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, we know his speed, but Jace McClellan is back. He had some moves out there. Catch the football. So I feel like, to me, the one thing Alabama's going to have to clean up, Justin, is the run blocking, getting a man on a man, and really driving guys off the field. I think Eric Wolford will definitely get that in line, get that in tune. But just for me, I feel like that was probably one of the only concerns. I felt like defensively, the first group gave up nothing, only had 1 penalty against it. Will Anderson had a nasty hit out there on the field.
A few.
Shaheem Otis showing his quickness.
Yeah, matter of fact, a couple of those hits from Will Anderson looks like he knocked their soul straight out of their body. Kind of remind me of that scene in Doctor Strange when he do that soul punch and they leave their body. That's exactly what I got from a couple of those Will Anderson hits.
Look, I'm still waiting on the police to get here, Justin.
You witnessed the murder, huh?
Yes. Several of them.
If you would, if you could go back to the offensive line, we got some folks in the chat. What was your overall take of the offensive line? Me personally, before you jumped on, I felt like aside from those long runs by Bryce Young, we didn't really open up running lanes well enough. At least not to the degree that I was hoping for. I honestly thought coming into this game, we wouldn't have to pass very much just because of how much they gave up this previous week to UConn, who's arguably one of the worst teams in the country. we had a little bit of a problem in the first half. Second half, we started to wear them down just a little bit. And then we saw Jahmyr Gibbs erupt for that 60-yard scamper and Jace to do some things. But what were your thoughts on the offensive line?
I thought Justin and Mike, pass blocking, better, run blocking, still got to improve. Because I felt like Kendall Randolph, as much as Nick Saban loves its stick-to-itiveness, being in the program for 6 years, Kendall Randolph got dominated up front.
He did.
Time and time again, wherever he was, Utah State was able to bully him around. You got to get Javion Cohen back in that spot. Emil Ekiyor, when he came in, you saw it a bit more stabilized. So as much as Saban loves the story of Kendall Randolph, we all love those stories. But when you're not getting it done, you're just not getting it done. And Kendall Randolph, either at left guard or at right guard, they targeted him, could not run the football. Tyler Steen at times looked up and down.
Yes, he did.
I think he'll get it. I think he'll get it together, but at times he looked up and down. So I thought pass blocking, Alabama much better than what they were a season ago. Run blocking, still an issue there.
Yeah, and I think that J.C. Latham played probably the best out of everyone tonight on the offensive line.
He was phenomenal. He anchored the right side. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, I really love what I saw from him, and you're absolutely right. Tyler Steen at times looked lost, but then there are other times where he looked good, but I think that's more so of a chemistry thing, and you're just going to have those hiccups early on. And, Wesley Britt and other linemen we've interviewed in the past have said it usually takes a good 3 or 4 games before that line just really gels and just really it comes together. So I'm just kind of chalking it up to that right now. If the problem still exists past game 3 or 4, then I think we have an issue.
Absolutely. But I thought Justin and Mike just overall, Alabama played a bunch of players in this game. You got a shutout win. You see some things you are excelling at, and then you see some things that, okay, we got to clean this up. This was more of the mental test against Utah State. Next week, you got the physical test. You go down to Austin, Texas. You're dealing with the heat. You're dealing with the Texas Longhorns. You're dealing with all of the build-up and the hype for this game. You're dealing with facing Steve Sarkisian and others. So this was the mental test. Next week, you get the first real physical test.
No, I do have to ask you a question just because, you were able to see the whole field, at least better than some of us who are watching the TV. Eli Ricks, seemed to me like he didn't quite settle in, didn't quite feel that confidence, that he had at LSU. What was your overall take on his performance tonight?
He's got to knock some rust off, Justin. He's got to knock the rust off. He missed games. He missed the games when he played at LSU due to a shoulder injury. He missed time in camp, in fall camp for Alabama due to a slight back problem. So he's got to knock the rust off. He's got to get more game experience. That's the reason why Terrion Arnold got the start. Opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yes, Ricks got worked in. Kyrie Jackson got worked in, but we're seeing that there's still some rust there on Eli Ricks. And that's only going to get knocked off with more reps.
Yeah, I agree. He'll definitely get there. And one thing I was really excited to see, Mike and I briefly touched on this earlier, was we got to see all 3 quarterbacks. Of course, Bryce Young did his thing, but Jalen Miller looked really polished, really poised aside from that one pick. This isn't the same guy from last year.
I think Justin Milroe's gotten better. The one thing I want to see from him, though, is just controlling his arm. He's got a very strong arm, and sometimes he has a rough time at moments controlling that. Going back to the interception he threw, trying to hook up with Christian Leary there. If he times his throw a bit better, that's a touchdown, because Christian Leary has his guy beat down the field. He had like 4 or 5 steps from the defensive back in question. If Jalen Miller times that throw a little bit better, that is 6 points. You can put that on the bucket right there. So that's the main thing for Miller moving forward, is we know he's got a strong arm. We know he has the capability to be accurate it's timing his throws a bit better.
Absolutely, and he'll get there, and I think, man, it's not going to take very long at all for him to make that adjustment and ascend to the next level. Now, I'm looking forward to see any possible packages that may involve him coming up, like Mike and I discussed already. We really we're not going to show everything tonight, but I'm looking forward to seeing what we can use from him this season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are packages out there for Milroe, not just him as a runner, but him throwing the football as well. And I'm pretty sure Bill O'Brien will dive into more of those as we continue to go throughout the season. But one thing, Justin and Mike, I don't know if you recognize this. Several times, Bill O'Brien went 5 wide sets. Several times, Bill O'Brien had Jace McClellan and Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. I'm like, what type of creativity this is? Okay, Bill. About time. Bill O'Brien actually was doing some creativity. I'm like, is this Steve Sarkisian calling plays? Oh no, it's Bill. It's Bill? I never seen Bill pull this.
Yeah. He had to get comfortable, man. He had to get comfortable. Gotta get them feet wet first, man. He good.
and it's funny, Mike and Steven, this is the same guy that Marvin Constant printed up shirts to fire him this last year. So
fire that man into the
sun. He must have saw
it. He must have saw the shirts and got the memo. But yeah, this is a different kind of Bill O'Brien. This is the Bill O'Brien that we were wanting to see this past season. But of course, handcuffed. It's exciting to think about what could possibly be coming up.
It is, and even down defensively, Justin. Although Alabama's defense did not register a sack in this game, you think about it. It stifled Utah State. Aggies couldn't get a score on the board. And then Justin Eboigbe surprised me tonight.
He did.
I mean, Eboigbe stepped up. He fit his run gaps. He fit the hole. He made some strong tackles. Jalen Moody led the team in tackles. There were a few guys defensively that really stepped up and caught my attention, which is one of those guys was Eboigbe. Really had a good game by him. So even defensively, though, you did not see the sack or you did not see the interception. You saw a defense that made strong tackles. They fit the run. They hit their gaps. They played assignment football. That was strong there for a defense, even though you didn't get the wow plays against Utah State.
They're coming, and I think that we were able to do those things because we were really strong in the middle. Jaheim Otis was very good tonight. He may not have gotten those wow plays and gotten a lot of tackles, but he was so disruptive that it opened up opportunities for other people, and that's something we greatly needed. And seeing Jamil Burroughs in a new position, I thought he was very effective. I thought DJ Dale played well. Of course, we needed him too, but yeah, having those guys up front, it makes a difference in how the defense is run.
Justin, absolutely. But happy to be a part here of the post-game show. Just wanted to call and give my thoughts here as I'm leaving the stadium. You guys have a great night.
You too, brother. Thank you for calling in. Always a pleasure.
No problem.
Man. So yeah, good to hear from Steven. Man, so what do you think of on that defensive line, man?
I still think Turner and you got and Will. Man, that's an iron curtain, man. I don't. There's not too many booger holes, and even when they put the twos in, man, Quindarius Robinson looked really good.
He did.
Man. So I mean, it was exciting to finally get him to finally see him get in action. He's a hometown favorite. He's a Birmingham kid, so just glad to see he had a little chance to get some success.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was really great to see that we are winning the battle at the point of attack. This is something we weren't doing last year. And man, what a difference a year makes.
I think I think once everybody gets settled in, and I mean with that coaching experience, man, every last one of the position coaches I think I'm almost certain were coordinators at some point. So I think with that type of wisdom and knowledge of a defense, man, failure is not an option. It's too much. Y'all, if y'all lose, you deserve to lose. I mean, gee whiz. Come on, man. All you got them professors in there, man. Come on.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. One of the things that I was kind of paying attention to tonight was former Alabama wide receiver Xavier Williams. Ziggy Williams was actually playing for Utah State tonight, and I don't think he really did anything. Of course, the wide receivers for Utah State didn't really get an opportunity to do a whole lot of anything. We were in the face of the quarterback just about every down. A matter of fact, at one point, I think Logan Bonner, their 7-year quarterback. Yes, I did say 7 years. He's been in college 7 years. And he got taken out because it was just too much for him. But, yeah, this is a kid. He actually played against Alabama back in 2018 when he's with Arkansas State. So,
so he my age.
Yeah, he is.
He grown.
He got that red shirt, gray shirt, green shirt, about every shirt you can. He was on the Bill Davis, the Ben Davis Scholarship Fund. The plan. I think he was pursuing his professorship. I don't know if that's even a word.
I'm with you. God, dog. 7 years.
7 whole years, man.
You're a professional student.
Coach Mook says that man got a credit history.
Right.
But yeah, guys, please call in, man. The phone lines are open, 205-898-4698. We're ready to take some more calls. We're ready to get y'all in the mix of everything. Give us something to argue about. I mean, we need
man,
a little
folks them folks out there, they on cloud nine, man. They probably down at the old Rounders, man.
Hey, that's fine. Order us a little bit of something. We'll take it right now.
Yeah.
So, after watching tonight, where do we go now? How do we move forward? What does the focus shift to?
24-hour rule, man. That's it. They gonna go stretch and stride on Sunday, man. They gonna enjoy it tonight. He ain't gonna call tomorrow. They gonna be able to go get some stretching in, some rehab if he injured. You got a little nicks and bruises. But Sunday come, man, he gonna have that meeting, the good, the bad, the ugly. After that talk, bro, it is Texas. I mean, they got the scouting report. I'm telling you, come Monday, them boys locked in.
No, yeah, no doubt.
It don't take long, man. Anytime, I can honestly say, when Coach Saban knows what type of team he is, and he gonna have the audacity to say that was my rebuilding year last year. Hey, man,
man, that got some folks mad.
If you look, that's like you. I'm a hunter. You know, I'm from Mississippi. We hunt. Yeah. So if I seen a couple of them bucks out there, you pass them up. We gonna let him grow. That hey man, he up to something. That's all I'm gonna say. The rest of college football better be scared, man. Anytime he get cocky in his bag, because Coach Saban real conservative now. He real conservative.
He is.
Be humble, guys. Nah, he popping off now.
Yes, and listen, we got some calls here, but I want to say this: the reality is, it was a rebuilding year last year. There were a couple of games we got lucky. I mean, we got damn lucky, and a few plays here or there. I mean, we could have easily lost 3 or 4 games. LSU, Florida, Auburn. I mean, it was a true rebuilding year. We just the great teams rise to the occasion, and we happen to get to overcome those little issues.
That's a little arrogant. That's all I'm gonna say. Anytime you say you gonna win 11 games, you gonna say that's my rebuild, man. You don't get out of my face. If I'm on the other end of the stick, but we went undefeated my last year, so I don't know how that feels.
I got you. Well, let's go ahead and get to this next caller. It looks like he's calling all the way from New York. Interesting. welcome into the post-game show. You're on live with Justin Riley and former wide receiver from Alabama and national champion Mike McCoy. State your name and where you're calling from.
Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Donald. I'm calling all the way from Long Island, New York.
All right. Roll Tide, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, bro.
Roll Tide. There's no football here in New York, so
At least not for a long time.
yeah. I mean, we only have the New York Giants and the Jets, but
I'm sorry.
As a Bama fan and a Giants fan, I am happy that we have Evan Neal and Xavier McKinney on defense.
And shout out to Xavier McKinney. Didn't he just get named team captain?
Yep, he's the captain, and he will be calling the plays on defense.
Hey,
wow,
that's the man you want calling the shots. But brother, if you would, man, kind of share us your thoughts on tonight. What are some things that stuck out to you? What's something that you want to comment on? And yeah, your overall take.
Well, I love the fact that I love Brian Robinson last year. Like, I like how he was a bruising running back, but he doesn't have that speed, that home run speed that Jahmyr Gibbs has. And I'm just happy that we have that in our offense, because it's going to definitely make the receiving game even more dangerous, because he seems like the type of running back that can just take off for 90 yards in the blink of an eye with that speed.
He's
So
different.
that stuck out to me. Like, he wasn't really getting those big plays like earlier in the game, but as soon as the third quarter came on, he just took off just like that for 58 yards. And that really stuck out to me, because it showed me that, yeah, he doesn't really need the best blocking, but he can just take it to the end zone at any point in the game. So defenders are going to have to account for him. So that stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a minute since we've had that running back with top end speed, that breakaway ability. I guess since Kenyon Drake and maybe Najee as well. So yeah, having that aspect in our game back is going to do so many different things for us.
Yeah, I think I heard something about how he was being compared to Alvin Kamara.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah.
I mean, you special.
On the field. Right, now that's excellent.
It doesn't get any better than that. But yeah, man, we appreciate your call. Before we got another caller who's waiting on the line, but before we let you go, brother, if you would, anything else you'd like to share? What are you looking forward to next for this Texas game?
Well, I'm looking forward to us continuing to be dominant. I know Texas is a big name, it's a big school, but we're Alabama. I expect us to continue to dominate, and just suffocate the other team.
Suffocate.
Just go with them.
You said
like
suffocate.
their fans are gonna be making a lot of noise, so we gotta punch them in the mouth early to show them what it feels like to play Alabama.
I like that. I like that mentality. Well, man, thank you again so much for calling in. And we're going to be doing this for the rest of the season. So please feel free to jump on anytime, man. We definitely welcome it.
Definitely. I'll keep that in mind.
All right, brother. You have a great night and roll tide.
Roll tide.
That's it. Roll tide, baby. My man
right.
said suffocate. Wow, I ain't heard
like that.
Yeah,
I like
you
that.
Violent. That's New York. But
yeah, that is. We need a little bit of that New York mentality filtered in to the way we're doing things down here. But before we get to our next caller, I do want to ask, to fans regarding this Texas game, there's a lot of bulletin board material. You got the situation with Jai Hall. He's going to be playing against us. And then Jaleel Billingsley, he's going to be playing against us too. So there's some drama stuck to this game.
They good too now.
They good if they have their mind right. That that's a big if. And I tend to think that they're going to be up for this game. What they do after this and for the rest of the year, that's anybody's guess. But being a former player, being a former Saban player, do you all really pay attention to the dramatic side of things, the bulletin board side of things, or is that more so for us fans?
Nah, it's more so fans that Coach Saban call that rat poison. I'm sure he gives these guys the same spiel like he did. Stay away from social media, stay away from sites. We don't want to hear none of that. No external, input on what they got going. As long as they're tunnel vision. So no outside noise. But he just called that rat poison. Anytime, that's rat poison. So we don't none of that negative talk. He's big on the affirmation and he believes what he believes. So ain't none of that going on.
I hear you, man. Well, let's go ahead and get back. It looks like we have a returning caller. Coach Smook is back, and Coach Smook, you back with us, man. You got some more to say, so I'm interested to hear what you got to say, brother. So bring it to us.
I'm really excited you kind of transition into next week because like you all been saying all night, man, we played a complete game tonight. Of course, there's small stuff you pick at, but as far as the matchup next week, I don't see Texas's offensive line being able to hold up against our front. And if we are rotating as deep next week as we were tonight, being that it's going to be the condition of the game, the time, the heat, the weather, we expect it to be hot. I believe that's what played into the type of rotation we played tonight. As you all know, and I know Mike knows, Coach Saban, he's practicing whenever he's preparing, whether it's a spring ball, summer workouts, he's always prepping for something that's in the future, something that's always ahead of schedule. And I believe conditioning somehow this summer and fall played into the UT game being in Austin. I believe that, like I said, the type of rotation that was used tonight played into the game plan for next week when he saw that the team was executing early and consistently. I don't remember the number of penalties we had on either side of the ball, but I know it was less than what we last year against Miami. And if you look at it, the competition and talent-wise, it was kind of similar of what we faced last year. We came in with the same amount of talent last year, offense and defense. You just see a different level of communication and execution with this year's team. And that is, like I said, last phone call, is scary. But I love our matchup defensively against Texas. Our D-line up front, I know we have the advantage up there. And I mean like too deep across the board, Justin and Mike. Too deep across the board, we have the advantage. I want to see Moody and Toa be very physical early, especially with Robinson coming out of the backfield at Texas. Like, I feel like we have to hit him hard. We have to hit that guy hard. And the moment we get a chance to put a hit on Ewers, like the guy's coming off an injury. Everybody knows how that mental block that you have to overcome coming off of major injuries, man. So just being the more physical team is going to be important. And Ajayi Hall, we know he's immature. We know Sarkisian. He's going to try to bend. He's going to bend the book. He's going to try to find his way through to get some type of advantage. So I don't think Ajayi Hall has changed. I follow the guy on social media. The guy's not changed. And I played with a guy, same type of mentality. And I love my boy to death. But Jamon Forson came out of same class with me, went to Florida State, and just could not adapt. And he'll tell you, he posts every day watching these young receivers. I wish I could have adjusted my attitude. I would have been one of the greats. I'm pretty sure he would have, because the boy was nasty playing for Jimbo Fisher. And one of the only guys to get D1 offer out of the Tri-City area during that time with Jarvis Jones and, that crazy class they had coming out of Carver and Columbus. So it's like you just know certain things after you've been around for a while, man. And I'm pretty sure I see Mike nodding his head while I'm talking, like he's saying the same thing. Like some guys like that, they have to hit like a real rock bottom to really see, and a lot of times it's too late. And I just don't see UT having that integrity at that program. They have a history of trying to get guys by, and it's never paid off. And I think that's what makes Alabama a different program from a lot of other programs in the country. I think that's why Georgia is becoming one of the top, programs in the country. I think that's why you see programs like Arkansas making a turnaround and being competitive. Programs like even Cincinnati, even though they took a loss, you got a guy like Luke Fickle over there just building an honest program, facing stuff that you got to deal with, stuff that got to come to the front, but building an honest program. And guys, it's a lot more percentage of young guys are buying into that now. It's not what the media tries to put out. Guys are being fazed by money and stuff. A lot of guys are really buying into, okay, this is my best chance to get to the next level, whether I go be a star or whether I can be a part of a successful program. So next week I feel like it's gonna be a blowout though. I feel like it's gonna be a blowout. I give us like a 30-point blowout. Like I'm thinking like 40, 47, 49 to 12 type.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
disrespectful.
I don't see that offensive line being able to hold up. Just like we got to fight in that heat. They don't practice outside all summer long.
Boy, man, they got that oil money, man.
They not out there sweating in 112-degree weather every day.
That's right, man.
Our humidity in the southeast our heat and humidity get pretty tough. I lived in Fort Hood, Texas. That Central Texas area for 4 years, and I promise you, my 2-mile run time in the military was way better in that dry heat than it was down here in Fort Benning, Georgia. So, the conditioning levels are about the same. It's just about who has the better will. And I feel like this Alabama team, talent-wise and just level of focus, is there, man. But like I said, I only wanted one response from Mike McCoy, man. Trayshawn Holden.
Oh, he wants your
he like that. He like that.
I feel like he's going to be our number one receiver this year. He's the biggest receiver. He has the same type speed. Just the way he runs his routes now, the confidence he runs his route, the strength he's running with, the way he's attacking the ball in the air. And I know Utah State didn't have the DBs that really challenge him, but if you're doing that against Alabama DBs, and that's what earns you a starting job, and you come out and you just dominate against Utah State, I don't see it changing that mentality across the board. So I just want you to weigh in on that thought, man, when it comes to Trayshawn Holden. Can he be the number one guy for Alabama? And then I'm out, man.
All right. Mike, go ahead.
I'm a fan of him. I don't know, in this type of offense, can you have a number one receiver? Because last year, if I asked you who was the number one receiver, it'll be a debate between Mechie and Williams. You know what I'm saying? So I think with these trio receivers, man, it's going to be hard to guard, stop, compose, contain. It looked like the Late Show, man. Somebody going to be open. And but he like that. I ain't going to even lie to you. I think he has a frame kind of like Demaryius Thomas that played at Georgia Tech. Just a little bit longer, but I feel like he has that type of capabilities to be an explosive player like that.
I think he's the real deal, man, and I think he knows it too. You can see it in every movement he makes now. This is a different Trayshawn Holden.
He like that, man. I didn't know the track record on the kid, but I'm like, bro, you whatever you did this offseason, you need to do it again next season. You getting that stock up, that draft stock. You got everybody scratching their head. Where have you been?
Well, and I just think the mentality changed. For a lot of these guys, man, it's like when that light goes off, they finally get it. That maturity is setting in, and like you said, the draft stock comes into play because he's approaching the later part of his career at Alabama, and it's time for him to make a move. And this is a good start. Playing against Alabama DBs every day makes things so much easier when you get to the real games, and you can tell that tonight.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, Coach Saban don't play. When he say ones on ones, it's live action, bro. I'm telling you, from the time you walk in that locker room, y'all laughing and talking. You put on your white jersey, they put on their red jersey, bro. Y'all don't see each other until it's time to go at it. It's just different. It's a pro practice on steroids every day.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I know we got this Texas game coming up next week, and we'll probably analyze more as the week goes on. But what keeps this game close? Or is there even any shot in it being close? The only way I see it happening is if Alabama does something to beat themselves, or this just the emotional side of it is there, which typically goes away in the second half. But in what ways do you see this actually being a game, or do you not seeing it being a contest?
Well, one thing about it, I don't think it would ever get to that level with this team right now, just based on that. But as long as Alabama plays Alabama football and not try to get in a shootout and do things that are I guess I'm gonna say unnatural, not normal. Don't do anything out of the ordinary, man. We're pretty much meat, bread, potato team. We know what works. And you give them what they give you, and don't try to have a chess match. I mean, a shootout, man. I think we just play ball. It's gonna happen regardless. Slow, consistent pace. But man, one thing about it, Coach Saban going, come on, man. That's his son over there, man. Come on, he's gonna get on. He's gonna spank something.
Got to, man. Keep son humble, keep him in line.
That's right.
The only thing that I see maybe a little bit of a challenge, of course, Bijan Robinson, arguably one of the best running backs in the country. A little bit different, our guys, going against a Utah State running back committee, and then Bijan and even Keelan Robinson, former Alabama running back. But I just don't think Texas has what it takes up front. That was not their strong suit this past season, and it's not this season. Matter of fact, they just lost one of their starters, arguably probably one of the better ones on their team. That is not a recipe for success. So, but before we close out, if anyone else wants to give us a call, we're going to open the phone lines just a little bit longer, 205-898-4698. I want to introduce a segment that we're going to try to do every week. We talked about this a little bit earlier in our preparation stage. Mike McCoy's lap dogs and pit bulls. Do you have any tonight?
I don't have any lap dogs.
No lap dogs tonight.
No lap dogs, but I do got some yard dogs. I think I would give that into. I'm gonna give it to two offensive guys. I'm gonna give it to Bryce,
mm-hmm.
and I gotta give it to Prentice, Kobe Prentice. I gotta give it to. No reason. I know everybody's like, man,
yeah,
it's typical. It's obvious. But man, when you tell you got a freshman that a true freshman is starting at receiver since Julio, man, that says something. That's comparable. That's different. So for somebody to throw 5 touchdowns and for a freshman to come in his first game catch 5 passes, come on, man, that's different. That's like Michael Crabtree back at Texas Tech.
Oh
type
man.
stuff, man. Yeah. So those are my 2 yard dogs for the week.
That offensively, what about on the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, come on, man. You got to give it to Will and you got to give it to Turner, man. Those are Tua. I don't want to mess up my dog name. Number 10.
Toa.
Toa. I say I don't want to mess up his name. I'm not even going to attempt it. So Toa. I'm talking about you, player. But I think, man, he's not a blazer. He's not overly fast. But, man, when I tell you he is a smart player, bro, he runs that defense. He is definitely the quarterback of that defense right now, next to Steele Will.
Okay. I'll definitely take that. And I'll go ahead and name my yard dogs on the offensive side of the ball. No denying Bryce Young. Incredible night. 5 touchdowns to the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Got to name a couple other people. Well, actually, co-yard dogs, and I had to give it to your boy Kobe and Trayshawn Holden. I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, you could even
argue. What about
argue,
Burton? He had 2.
Well, you could do a 3 co-yard dogs. The trio of Burton, Prentice, and Holden. I mean, come on,
it's
they
crazy.
balled out, brother.
It's crazy.
Defensive side of the ball, it's hard to pick out anybody, but some people that really stood out to me, of course, Kyrie Jackson. That play where he just exploded and used the guy's teammate against him. Man, who does that?
That's pure rage. That's controlled rage right there.
That's just meanness.
Yeah, you had some older siblings when you used to get beat up at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that, it looked like the scene from The Color Purple. All my
Yeah.
life I had to fight, and that was Kyrie. The other one,
Right.
I gotta give it to my boy Jalen Moody. Did a lot of
Yeah.
great things tonight,
Yeah.
man. Passion was there. That dog was there.
Yes.
This is a
Yeah.
guy that's been through some things, and yeah, he's been fighting, and he's ready to show out his last season.
I'm excited, man. We got a big year, man. They have something special, man, and I know what a championship team feels like, and I think man, it's gonna be different this year. Something crazy got to happen for it not to happen. But based on what I'm seeing right now, I can feel it in the air.
Hey, and the last time you had this feeling, I think what was the summer of 2009, the grass
The
smelled
spring,
different.
man, the spring of going into '09, the spring going into the summer. After we lost to Florida, it was just different, man. We had a
And
chip on our shoulder.
and that's the thing, man. You had the dogs to take down Florida that previous year,
Yeah.
but man, you got it done. We got one more call before we kind of wrap things up. Gonna bring them back in. Welcome back to the show. This is Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. Glad to have you on as we kind of wrap things up after game one, Alabama versus Utah State.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me again from Long Island. I forgot to ask this question
Okay.
about our offensive line. Whatever happened to the Brockemeyer brothers? Like, I know they were, I think the tackle, the one of the brothers who played left tackle, he was ranked as one of the best coming out in in his class, number one in Texas, I believe. Whatever happened to them?
Man, that's a good question. From one I understand, I think it was Tommy that may have had some injury issues. As far as his brother, good question. I guess the development just has not been there, based on what I've been told. Just not quite catching on as quick as everyone had thought they would by this point. So yeah, those are two names that we all as Bama fans have been anxious to get out in that field, and yeah, we've been asking that too, brother.
Yeah,
All I'm gonna tell
thank
you,
God.
man. Oh,
We have J.C. Latham because he came in with those guys, and he was ranked as one, I think, like the sixth best player in the country. So thank God we have him. He seems fine to me.
Hey, JC Latham, man, he's a dog. He's balling out. Did great things tonight. He kind of was
Yeah.
the stability point or piece of that offensive line, and kind of kept everybody going tonight. So he's doing his job. I think he's primed for an amazing year.
Yeah, he's Evan Neal's replacement. We successfully replaced him, replaced Evan Neal with J.C. Latham. We have Tyler Steen as a good left tackle. He's a veteran. But J.C. Latham, he'll probably be the left tackle next year, if Tyler Steen leaves for the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Well, brother, we're about to wrap things up. I thank you again for calling in. Reminder, next week after the big Texas game, please give us a call. We love to hear what your thoughts are about that game.
I'll definitely do that.
All right, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll time, my man.
So, Mike, what were you going to say? I know that you kind of had to press pause.
Nah, man, I was gonna say, man, them stars mean nothing. Those rankings mean nothing. I have no idea who ranks these kids. I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
Half of them five stars, we played with a lot of guys that were poochies, a lot of guys that were 5 stars that was garbage. And you seen a lot of walk-ons. I'm like, bro, how are you a walk-on? Like, it's literally about opportunity. The stars got to line up, fellas, but do not buy into the hype of these 5 stars. Just because it looks like a Mustang don't mean it got a GT engine in it. Remember that. They got the same frame now.
You're right. And I think you made a good point when you were with us on the Bama Standard a few months ago. We need those guys who are coming out of the mud. Those
Got to,
guys
man.
that are hungry, who are scrappers, who are ready to fight. Marquise Mays, your teammate, said, just go out and get 1 and 2 stars, guys that are going to fight to get the job done. Perfect example. You say walk on. First person who comes to my mind, Rashad Johnson.
Yes.
This dude from this little bitty town in Sulligent, Alabama, came in there as a walk-on running back and ended up being one of the best defensive backs, not only in the Saban era, but period, and had a great career in the NFL.
I'm telling you, man, Smart came in as a running back, bro. They told him, oh, you ain't gonna have a chance in Haiti. You feel me? And then told him, hey, you learn this safety spot, and we'll see if some work out. I mean, dude, what better story can you give? I had another teammate, Tyrone King was
Tyrone, yeah.
like that, man. So, man, that underdog mentality, you love guys like that, man. Get it out the mud. I'm from Fannin, Mississippi. Shoot, we
I
used to
know.
have to we used to have to take the water hole to keep the dust down while we playing basketball. That's how we grew up. My grandmama still had hogs. I
That's
remember
right.
the first time my wife went to my aunt's house, we had a horse walking in the front yard.
She wasn't ready for it.
Man, wasn't ready for it. So hey, you gotta get country boys, man. I mean, nothing against them Cali boys, but something against them Cali boys.
Hey.
You need these Southern dogs out here, man. Them stars mean nothing when
not
you
a
put
thing.
that helmet on.
And that's the thing, man. That's based off of what you did in high school. You hadn't done a thing in college. It gives us something as fans to talk about around the water cooler and get hyped up about. But I think nowadays, especially with NIL, transfer portal, the kids are they're reading too much into it.
Yes.
They've lost all sense of any kind of humility. They have entitlement, and it's really messing up their focus and how they view things. Getting press conferences, in middle school now? Back in our day, what we get, like a clipping in the Rankin County newspaper if we did something?
Hey, newspaper, and you made sure you held to see the difference is you got parents that are trying to be friends with these kids, and now you giving these kids money for a kid from a low poverty area, and you finna tell him you finna give him $10,000 a month, man, bro, that's $1 million to that kid. You are, and what are you gonna tell a kid who's making more money than their parents? You can't tell them nothing,
Not a
man.
thing.
So they need to restructure. I have a lot of teammates, man, that didn't even have health insurance until they hit late 20s, man. It's a lot because these boys are giving everything to football. And if it don't work out, that's all you know. They don't have any other skills. And people say, well, it's their fault. Well,
no, it's not. Y'all made them.
Your teacher's gonna slide you through the cracks. They're gonna pat you on your back and tell you how good you are. And it's all about what have you done for me lately mentality. And I think you're going to create a lot of depression with a lot of these kids. Well, you're going to have success stories, but please believe, for every first round pick, you have 100 that are walking the street. So the stars got to line up. You got to have the right coaches. You got to be in the right system. It goes far beyond, oh, he liked that. Nah, man, the coach may not like you. What you going to do then? You transfer. They're going to call you a quitter. I mean, it's politics, man. It's politics. It's a lot of stuff that got to go right. But I feel like I just went on a rant right there. So
that's okay, though. We appreciate that.
But I think
it's true, man.
I think people just got to know, man, it's a lot that comes with to whom much is given, much is required. And if you give a kid too much too early, man, they don't know how to appreciate it. I had one guy, I ain't going to even tell you, had one of my guys play college ball, say he had over 250K, ain't got nothing to show for it.
Dang. Man. And that's another thing, man, is you don't have the right. A lot of these kids don't have the luxury of having the right people around them to financially advise them and
Both
guide them
true.
in the right way, and also to protect them against those family members who are going to be calling them up all the time. Hey, man, hey nephew, let me hold something. Let me have a little
It's
bit of
on
that.
both sides. It's on, man. It's everywhere, man. You're gonna have new relatives, new cousins. Man, you remember me, man? Not really.
Not really, no.
But but I'm telling you, man, it's serious, man. But I don't know. I think they need to change some things. I think they definitely need to restructure this type of stuff or putting in like a Roth IRA, 401k, give them a percentage of it and hold it until they decide to leave if they want to graduate. I just don't think you give a kid you can afford you on a free education. Not saying that they paying you to go to school. You working for it, I get all that, but
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
out of that $10,000, you need all 10 grand every month. You need all that 5 grand every month, but you live for free. They feed you. Which I mean, you just pissing in the wind.
That's it. And
Yeah,
and I'll add one more thing. Who's teaching them about paying taxes on all this money they're getting?
and
Who's
nobody.
t-
But
who's teaching them
mm,
about having to pay a tax on those free cars they're getting? Man, these Benzes like Bijan Robinson got at Texas. That they
hey,
have to pay a gift tax for that. But
one thing about it, life is your professor, and she gonna test you. And two things are certain: death and taxes. You gonna see them. Shit,
you're
better
right on
get.
that.
I'm telling you.
But hey, man,
Mm-mm.
we could talk about that all night. We could have a whole show based on that, and I love talking about that. But we can't unfortunately. But listen, man, great game. Enjoyed. You couldn't ask for a better opening game. To kind of get things put in place and get in the right direction. Something positive to build off of going into Texas, going into that 110-degree heat we're going to experience next week. Yeah, we appreciate everyone in the chat right now for being with us, especially those who
Definitely.
decide to be nice enough and donate to the super chat. We're a low budget show right now, so we appreciate
We
that.
we coming though. We finna be large around
We're
here.
gonna
We
be
just
very
need your
large.
support. You know what I'm saying? So when we grow, you grow with us.
That's it. Hey, listen, it gets a lot better because listen, we've already talked, and we're going to have some guests on with us here in the future. We've
For
already talked
sure.
about some guys, might know some dudes.
I know a
So
couple.
just a few. I'll remind everyone, stay with us every week. We're going to be coming at you live after every game. Also, they're going to have the TDA watch party during the game. If you don't want to deal with the announcer, especially when we hit the CBS circuit here in Gary, which a lot of us don't want to hear, tune in to TDA and get that watch party going. And then on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you definitely want to tune in for Stephen and Smith bringing it to you on In My Own Words. But also, you definitely got to tune into the Bama Standard on Tuesday nights.
That's it.
We are previewing all the games. We're going to have guests every week. This Tuesday, Trent Richardson is going to be with us. Hey, we had some guys do some things against Texas last time, and he was one of those dudes. We felt like he was the best one to talk about that. And Mike, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to be on that one as well because you were a part of that. So if you were free Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central, we would appreciate your presence.
I may pull up.
You may
I
pull
may
up,
pull
do a
up.
little something. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Again, before y'all leave out, I want y'all to hit that like button. We had over 100 people here watching live with us in the chat. So that means we should have 100 likes right now. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching the replay, let us know what you think in the comment section. Hey, great night. Roll Tide, Mike.
Roll Tide, brother.
And roll Tide, everybody in the chat.
Peace.